Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Uncensored Critic podcast. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. It means the world to me. Thank you very, very much. And today we welcome along a voice actor herself, the great Siobhan Dowd. And for anyone who's unfamiliar with Siobhan's work, let's take a moment to introduce her right now. So she has training in voice work from a number of different sources and organizations, such as Gravy for the Brain, the Showreel, and the City Academy. Now she works as a voice artist across many different mediums for commercials, video games, audiobooks, column commentary, with weekly updates, and also with weekly updates on her Instagram series, Thoughts While Running. She has worked with some of the most well-known companies across the globe, lending her voice to companies like The Economist, Sainsbury's, Toyota, Netflix, Network Rail, and Indeed, to name a few. And other credits include voicing the BBC Einstein and the Bomb documentary, Spotify streaming ads, Shakespeare's Sonnets audiobook, emergency services operator, narrating The Night Before Christmas, which is an ad they had at the time, and Newcast, The Economist, and The Daily Briefing as part of that recording there. All this and so much more via her website, which is down below, so go check out for more information. But that would delay the moment when I say, Siobhan, welcome.
Hi, thanks, Oliver. That was a lovely intro.
No, that's all you, mate. It's all you.
Cheers. Thanks. Thanks very
Good.
much.
And how's things? All right?
Yeah, really good. Very good. Busy. It's a bit rainy here in London today, but
Oh, yeah. And one of the worst days of the year so far, aren't we?
it's pretty miserable. It's not as much rain as they said, but yeah,
Nice
I'm
one.
good otherwise, work-wise and life. I'm good. Yeah.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear. So we start at the beginning. So in your case, Siobhan, where did it come from? The love of not just the voice, but the arts, this business, the
Mhm.
industry. Where did it come from?
Well, the love of the industry has been around since I was a kid. I've always loved film.
Hmm.
Film was my first love, and it still is. Yeah, so I've always been an avid film watcher and been interested in the industry. But I worked in IT for years. I wasn't in any kind of arts. And then after I had my second child, I decided to retrain, and I did a few courses in voiceover work
Hmm.
because I love reading and I love the spoken word. I love any spoken word performances. So yeah, I retrained, went freelance, and didn't realize what that entailed, but here I am. It's worked out all right for me. So,
Yeah. What was it about voice work that really appealed to you?
uh, I think you can convey so much through really subtleties of voice. I've always enjoyed poetry and spoken word artists, and literature. I love reading books, and I think that all just combines into what I like about voiceover work.
Yeah, it's a new kind of medium, I think. I mean, I remember one of the first audiobooks I ever heard was the Harry Potter ones
Yeah.
with Stephen Fry and stuff narrating that. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, to this day, I think it's some of the best. I mean, I think a lot of people aspire to be as good as that.
Well, Stephen Fry is yeah, the god of all voice work. Yeah, yeah. I think anything that his voice carries a lot of resonance and
Mm,
soul with it. So yeah, audiobooks are an art unto themselves.
mm.
Um, when I first started doing voiceover work, I thought an audiobook, because I love reading and I like reading aloud. So you think an audiobook, yeah, it's just reading a book aloud, but there's a lot more to it than that. A lot of work goes into audiobooks.
Yeah. Well, what is the work that goes into an audiobook?
So first of all, I remember at one of the first conferences I went to, Peter Kenny was there. I don't know if you know Peter Kenny's work. He's a
Rings a
great,
bell. Yeah, rings a
brilliant
bell.
audiobook narrator. And somebody said to him, like, what preparation do you do? Do you read the book before you narrate it?
Mm,
And he laughed. He was like, of course. And I think it's then I realized the hours and days that go into preparation for an audiobook. So you read the book first, and then you pull aside all the characters because the narrator has to play all the characters.
mm,
So for me, um, I'd print out a manuscript. I still do it on paper, and pull out each character and mark them all up with a different color. And then I define the character's voice, practice the character, and then um, we most voice artists now use a system called Punch and Roll for our audiobook recording, which is where you record in one long stream, and if you make a mistake, you stop, go back, and then you record through, so it's seamless and it flows well.
Mm,
Yeah, so the preparation is long, uh,
yeah.
getting all of the characters down and making sure the characters are different. Um, one of the audiobooks I did called So Others May Live, when I auditioned for it, and the author was lovely, an American author,
Mm,
he said that there would be a couple of German characters, and could I do a German accent? So I was like, yeah, I can do that. What I didn't know that was that there were 8 German men, and I had to differentiate between each of them.
well.
Yeah, yeah. And they were having conversations. So as you can imagine, as an actor, yeah, trying to get those subtle differences for each of those. So yeah, a lot of preparation, and then the actual record is hours and hours and hours
Mm,
in a studio or a booth.
mm.
Yeah, but it's worth it. Audiobooks are great.
Yeah, I always thought about that because, you sat down with a book, and I know also on your website you did an extract from 1984 as
Yeah,
well, the Orwellian
yeah,
masterpiece,
yeah.
which will
Great
be
film.
relevant to something we'll talk about a little bit later. But
Hmm.
you look at that book, and that's what, like 300 pages or something
Yeah,
like that,
yeah,
and
yeah,
but you think just reading, like, I used to do more reading when I was a kid, but when you read like 2 or 3 chapters, that takes about 2 hours, just before you go to
yeah,
sleep. Whereas if you read the whole thing, it's like, and depending on the size of the book,
mm,
but you're in that booth for hours and days on end, especially if you've got like a massive
yeah.
volume to get through. I mean, how do you get through those long hours?
You have to take breaks.
Yeah.
Really important to take breaks. I'd say an hour in the booth recording is the maximum you want to do, so you don't get vocal fatigue.
Mm,
Also, um, I'm good at audiobook narrating and sight reading, but I don't know if anyone is that much better. They could do a whole book without any retakes. But yeah, you make mistakes. So
of course.
for every hour that you read aloud, you're talking another couple of hours of retakes and mistakes and pickups.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a long process. Keeping your voice rest, and also continuity, because it's going to be over a period of days. Um, I think some of the studios, I know Audible, when they bring people in, I believe it's common practice to do the chapters out of order so that you don't have the narrator at the beginning of the book sounding one way and by the end sounding different. Because, yeah, somebody's reading over a period of time, they get to know the book differently and they work with it. So, yeah, sometimes we do chapters out of order so that
Mm.
the voice doesn't change throughout the book.
Yeah. Is that to help the voice then, in some ways, as well as make it sound a little bit different at the beginning than it is towards the end?
Yeah, to keep the voice fresh and so that when the book starts, the voice is already seasoned and fully immersed in the book. Um, and yeah, it's to keep it fresh, keep it light, keep the story fresh. I think yeah, it's often used, not always. I tend to go when I'm recording at home, I'll go from start to finish, but I do lots of prep before each session, vocal prep and stuff like that, and getting in character. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I always think about, like, oh, the question now is gone. You've got, oh yeah. So I imagine you get to
Yeah.
the end of a take or something, and then they go, okay, Siobhan, that was great, but you said an and instead of an or in that line there. We're gonna have
Mhm.
to do it all over again. So one little mistake, if it's just one word, would you have to do the whole thing? Or-
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's and again, I far prefer going into a studio to record. When I self-record, and you hear that yourself, you're like,
Mm.
oh, can I just leave it? Can I leave it? No, you can't leave it. You've got to go back and do a pickup. But depending on what type of book it is, like you mentioned 1984,
Mm.
that would be well, throughout the narrative bits, that would be quite a slow read.
Mm.
So having done it for a long time, I generally make sure to leave breath pauses where they feel natural in between lines, so you can quite easily go back and slip in just a sentence or half a sentence. Um, So you don't have to re-record whole long sections. You can
Yeah.
edit them back in.
Yeah, you don't want that. You don't
No,
want that.
no.
But we mentioned 1984 as well. But
Mhm.
because it's so well known,
Yeah.
everyone. I mean, I studied it for A levels. A lot of people do it for GCSE and at universities and colleges, etc.
Mm.
But because it's so well known, and then you've got to put your spin on it, and
Yeah.
make your own unique interpretation of something so famous. And how do you do that?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I suppose the only way for me, I suppose it's just knowing your authentic self. I think that's a big part of voiceover, and
Oh,
that's something,
definitely, definitely.
yeah, something that a lot of my coaches like at the beginning said to me, you have to find your voice because for me, um, because of where I'm from, like in Southwest London,
Mm.
I started out and I was like, well, have I got a Southwest London voice or am I a bit posh? I'm not
South
sure.
London.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not proper South London,
South
but I'm
London,
not
mate.
RP either. So it's about finding your authentic voice and your natural voice.
Mm.
So I think a narrator reading a book, if the publisher or the author wants somebody to read a book, it's because they've heard something in that voice that they feel will lend something to the book. So yeah,
Mm.
just being authentic, I suppose, is the way to do that.
Yeah, and because you've
Mm.
got so many famous lines in there as well, there's what made right from the off. Didn't you say
Mm.
Winston? What's the line? Winston wakes up and the clocks were striking 13.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's the opening line, I think,
and
isn't it?
immediately you're going like, I've got my English teacher hat on right now, but it's like you're striking 13, 13 being an unlucky number. There's some people who have, I can't say the word, but it's like it's a phobia, and this word has got like a million words in it,
I
transphobia or
don't
something.
know the word, but I know, yeah, I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
fear of the number 13,
Yeah,
unlucky world, dystopian,
yeah,
different people, different lifestyle, everything. And then
yeah.
you've got those phrases. What are they? War is peace, freedom is slavery, and
Mm.
ignorance is strength. Is that right?
Yeah, you tell me. I'm not exactly sure.
I
I
think
don't
so.
have,
Yeah.
have it down.
I know the first two are right. I'm not sure about the third one. So anyone, please
Yeah.
correct me in the comments, guys.
Mm.
And then there's that. Oh, there's a devastating scene at the end where Winston's like pretty much being captured, and he's been. I can't remember the character's name, but he's been told that this is what life is going to be. You're going to be controlled
Yeah.
essentially. And when you approach an intense piece of work like that,
Mm.
and you've got to do it over and over and over again, and you're like,
Mm.
oh, yeah, how do you do that?
Well, that I think stands for, I guess, any acting or voice work is the emotion that you get caught up in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as you say, well, with something as iconic as 1984, there's a weight on your shoulders, I suppose, to interpret that. And people will have opinions on how things are interpreted. I did Shakespeare sonnets as well,
Mm.
which obviously everyone's got an opinion on how Shakespeare is read.
So many different ways you can do it.
Yeah. But I think like I don't do stage acting. But I think it must be similar in the fact that you have to immerse yourself fully in your character and in your scene. And then sometimes the emotion does get the better of you. Like I have been reading an audiobook and had to stop because I was in tears. I was upset by the scene that I was playing.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not just, and again, it's going back to at the beginning thinking, you're just reading a book. If you're doing it properly, you're not just reading a book. You
No.
are there and you are in those characters' lives. Again, a World War II book that I read, and there was this somebody died, no spoilers, but there are casualties, and
Of course.
it was emotional, and I had to stop. When there was a scene, a monologue of a woman who had lost her love, and watched him die, I had to stop because I kept crying. So I had to take a break from the book,
Mm.
go away, have a coffee, and come back to it. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's, I guess you're doing a good job then if you're immersed in it.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't want to read a book. Well, you don't want to listen to a book, and it's just monotone and
Yeah.
speedy, like the Wednesday woke up there with the clock striking 13, blah, 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 blah. And then
Ex-
you just turn it off, wouldn't you?
Well, that's what AI could do, I suppose. It's just read the words out. That's why I think audiobooks is one place where I don't believe AI can ever replace the human voice in
Mm,
audiobooks because
mm,
there is so much nuance and you have to really know the story to voice
mm.
it properly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was, that was the link between 1984, which we wanted to talk about, which is this
Mm.
period of AI, which we're in right now. I've spoken to people on here about it. Mildred, Ewan, Agent, part two
Yeah.
episode talking about AI in the business. So go check that out, guys. She goes into a lot of detail of what it's like on sets and everything right now, and but it affects the whole picture, not just the arts, but many other
Mhm.
industries as well. But I feel like the arts, I think, are the most to be concerned about because, and this won't happen, but it won't replace human creativity. And our human
Yeah.
essence now is more important than ever. So, in this current climate, what's it like in the voice world with AI?
There is a lot of fear. There is
Yeah.
a lot. A lot of voice artists are worried about AI and synthetic voices replacing the human voice.
Mm,
The way I look at it, though, is we've been through many changes in the creative industries, in everything like the advent of film and digital media, and there's always a place for human beings. There is, well, yeah, 1984 is frightening, of course.
mm,
Um, but we know how to make each other feel something. We know how to make each other laugh, how to make each other cry, how to make each other, yeah, connect. So an AI, a machine can't do that. A machine doesn't know how to make the connections, how to make the emotions. I'm not totally anti AI as a tool for certain things. And
mm,
even for some voice jobs, I think if you've got um 10,000 pages of corporate scientific manual to read, and they are jobs that have to be done. Like big corporations need some things, yeah, narrated. I've done in the past, I've done maybe 40 hours of scientific training modules years ago. I did that when I was starting out.
mhm.
Um, if an AI can take that, I think that's all right. Because the pay was never great for that kind of work, and
Yeah.
yeah. But in terms of art and creativity, well, I don't know. I don't know what other people's opinions are, but I'm hopeful. I'm still optimistic that AI will be used as a tool to assist writers. I know writers, yeah, that's an area that's a bit worrying, I think, for
Hmm.
writers. But I think as a tool for all of us, fine. I don't think it's going to replace us.
Definitely no.
No.
It won't, and you want to put it out there again, it won't. I mean, I said in Mildred's latest episode that I'd found a song online once and it was like Ed Sheeran slash gospel. And I thought,
Mm,
okay, what's this? And then I put the video on and I watched it and I thought, this doesn't look like an Ed Sheeran video. It looks more like a video game or like a computer game or something.
yeah.
And the sound, in retrospect now, sounded very kind of like generated in some ways.
Mm,
But I won't lie, I bought it for like a second thinking,
mm.
and then I looked down in the comments and I realized it was all completely AI. The
Yeah.
whole thing, the vocals, the beat, everything, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, no, I'm not listening to that again. I'm not,
So
can't do that.
I think I'm quite good at spotting AI, and maybe you are. And there's certain people that are. I
Yeah.
think in audio, I work in audio. My husband's a photographer,
Hmm.
so and we're quite both of us are quite on top of it, so I can see it. But I know a lot of people wouldn't have spotted that was AI that what you watched. So it does fool some people. Um, but then I saw there's a guy, I can't remember his name. He's got a social channel where he auditions actors, AI actors. I don't know if you're aware of this guy.
No.
No, so he's saying, can AI create actors? And he's proven that it can't. So he's trying to audition actors that are AI actors, and they're just absolutely awful. It's just a nightmare. It goes
And
completely
rightfully
wrong.
so.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I'm not too worried.
No, no, no. We should be fine. But
Mm,
but I think it's important we have these chats so people are aware of it in
mhm.
some ways, and just know that our human essence now is more important than ever before,
Yeah.
and just keep being human, guys. That's all we're saying. So
Absolutely. Cheers.
yeah,
Cheers to that.
exactly,
Mm.
exactly. But I've there's a book out there called A Little Life. I've talked about the play on here so many times, but the book's like
Oh,
700 pages or something, and I can't
yeah.
imagine the extensive period. Like you mentioned, the corporate 10,000
Yeah.
pages stuff. I mean, I can't imagine like doing
I
that.
saw I saw a little life to play that amazing. That was
Yeah, I
brilliant.
saw it as well. It was
Yeah.
incredible,
Yeah, it took me a
incredible.
while to get over it, but
Yeah, yeah, and me.
yeah, I don't know. Is there an audiobook of that
There,
book?
there is on YouTube. Yeah, I looked it up.
Oh,
They broke it down into sections because the book is in like is it 4 or 5 parts or something like the
yeah.
Happy Years, the Postman, the other ones, and
The others, yeah.
the other ones. Yeah, I would imagine they kind of broke it down into. Oh wait, what's the other one? The street they grew up on, Lisbonard Street and stuff. This intersection. So I imagine they just broke it down into like 2 or 3 days on section
Yeah.
one, 2 or 3 days section two, and three, etc. I don't know. I wasn't there.
I'll look into it actually because I bought the book
Mm,
and hoisted it up onto my bookshelf and there it has stayed. I haven't haven't had a chance to read it. I went and saw the play and I was like, I don't think I can actually go through reading that at the moment. But
yeah,
yeah, I'm going to look into who narrated the audiobook
yeah.
because that
I'll look it
would
up.
be a gargantuan task.
Yeah, it's on YouTube now. I think it was after it first came out, so I think it's a
Mhm.
few. I think it's about 10 years old now. I think, but probably a bit less than that.
Mm.
But yeah, and the font is actually really small as well, so it's a lot of dense,
Mm.
brilliantly written. By the way, it's a wonderful book. I read it
Okay.
after I saw the play, and it was like I don't know if you have this experience, but like when you're reading a book, I remember someone describing it as like TV, but just in your head.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like suddenly you see all the characters, and because I
Yeah.
saw the play as well, I saw all the characters, but it was like the extended edition in
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
ways.
Director's cut.
Yeah, director's cut. Yeah, I mean, well, so when you're reading stuff like that, 1984, or specifically
Mm.
a novel, a piece of fiction,
Yeah.
and again and again and again, like, does it create? It's almost like a cinematic experience, but just in your brain.
Yes. And I wonder actually, now that you've said that, I think for a long time I didn't realize that not everyone had that.
Mm.
As a child, I consumed books. Like I read every Stephen King book when I was a teenager. I
Oh
loved
wow.
Stephen King. Yeah. And I used to read like walking down the street and stuff. And it was always quite a cinematic experience. I was always completely within the story, within the book.
Definitely.
Um, and I wish I could say I still do. I don't have as much time now. I've got 3 kids, so
Yeah.
I don't have as much time to read. But when I do read a novel, I always want to step into the world. And yeah, so I bring that to my work. When I'm narrating an audiobook, I create that world in my head, very
Mm.
much so. I can still picture characters from books that I have narrated
Hmm.
that haven't had any screen representation. So it's just in my head. I have the images of all of the characters I've narrated. I've
Yeah.
seen them all. Yeah.
And I think also that it's like a unique experience to oneself. Obviously, you're reading the same book, but you see the characters if there's, especially if one relates to someone in your own
Mm,
life, and then someone else it represents something in their life. You're sharing the same
yeah.
story, but it means different things to different people, like any piece of art, really, isn't it?
Well, exactly. And also, so narrating an audiobook, there's a certain amount of pressure to get the right voice. If somebody's read a book and loved a book, and then your choices for the characters' voices are not what they would have expected, then there's going to be disappointment. It's like a film, isn't it? It's like
Yeah,
when
yeah.
somebody makes a film of a book and people are either disappointed or they love it. Recently, I listened to an audiobook of a book called Project Hail Mary,
Hmm.
and it's by the same author, I can't remember his name now, who wrote The Martian, which then became the Matt Damon film.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I listened to Project Hail Mary and it was amazing. the narrator did such a great job. He was amazing. And now there's a film coming out next year with Ryan Gosling in the lead
Mm.
role, who's a brilliant actor,
Yeah, very
but
good.
he's not what I had pictured. So it'll be interesting to see how that is.
Yes, Hollywood
Mm.
casting.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it will sell as
Yeah,
well.
of course. Yeah, absolutely it will. But it's a great book. It's a great story. So I hope the film's good. Let's see.
Yeah, yeah. I remember reading Harry Potter, because I mentioned the Stephen Fry books earlier, but Harry Potter, like
Mm.
after I saw the films, Although having said that, I did read The Deathly Hallows before the film came out,
Okay.
so I've got to get. I thought I was ahead of the game on that one,
Mm.
but yeah. But you see all these pictures and like the Harry Potter was different from the Voldemort I saw
Mm.
in the Deathly Hallows was different to the one on screen. Ray Fiennes' version, everything, which is very good, by the way.
Okay.
And yeah, sort of, and his death I thought was a little bit different in the films as well because they can change some things as well, a bit of
Yeah, there's always a
dramatic
bit of
license.
license with the
Yeah,
films. Yeah.
yeah,
Which you can't do with an audiobook though, actually.
no,
Yeah.
no,
No
you
dramatic
can't do
license, really.
that. But bloody Stephen King novels. I mean,
Mm.
reading them at a young age. I haven't read much Stephen King, but what's his writing like?
Well, I loved it as a child. Tried to go back recently, actually, and read one of my favorite Stephen King books, and I struggled. I don't know whether that's because I've changed or just I don't have the time to immerse myself fully.
Yeah.
But it his books were so visual to me as a
Hmm.
teenager. Um, I could still see there's a book called The Regulators, which he wrote under his pseudonym Richard Bachman,
Hmm.
and I can still picture the small town in which a lot of the action happened. I saw it then, and I can still see it now. So I'm 45, so it's 30 years ago probably that I read
Hmm.
that book, and it had such an impact on me that I can still picture it.
Wow.
Yeah, I love them. Maybe I'll try and read a Stephen King again soon. But
Yeah, because I
been,
mean, his book of It is like, I mean, it's like the Bible. It's
yeah,
enormous.
it is. Yeah. But it's brilliant. Have you read it? Have you read any Stephen King?
I tried to read The Shining when I was very young, but
Yeah,
I just couldn't. I don't know. I couldn't get into his writing at the time. My literary brain hadn't developed properly
yeah,
at that point. But maybe I'll go back to it. But I've seen the film though. Of course, Jack
yeah,
Nicholson, and what a performance!
yeah. That was amazing. That's a brilliant film. Yeah. So maybe just actually you've just stay with the film for that one, that
Uh,
particular book. I'll think of the best Stephen King books and I'll drop you an email
yeah,
with
that'd be
the
good. That'd be
rest.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Have you seen the films of It as well? Have you seen that?
I haven't seen the newest one.
Yeah. Well,
There
Tim
was,
Curry's the original one, wasn't he?
yeah. So the original one
Yeah.
was terrifying.
Yeah.
Um, was it They All Float?
You'll
Is what
float
happened.
too. You'll
Yeah,
float too.
Pennywise.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't see the newer film. It came out a couple of years ago, did it? And
There's two now. Yeah. There's It
yeah.
and It Chapter Two. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Are they
Yeah.
good?
Yeah. I mean, I saw the first one. I haven't seen the second one. I thought, yeah, I didn't like horror when I was a kid, but now I watch it. I'm just like, oh yeah, it's just like well, in
Mm.
some cases, well put together, great piece of work, and
Yeah.
other ones you're like, this is just
So I'm
what?
the same. I've always said I don't like horror, which
Yeah.
is weird because I read Stephen King, but I didn't ever like horror films.
Mm,
But then recently there's films that I avoided watching because I thought I didn't like horror films. And then when I watched them, they were more nuanced and, there was more to them. I think I don't like out and out. I think I don't like is it called body horror?
mm,
When weird things happen to people. But
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, each to their own.
I think one thing about Stephen King as well, with The Shining in particular, is like
Mm.
you don't obviously there is violence, of course, in the film. He hacks the door down and goes, "Here's Johnny,"
Well, he
and
does indeed.
which
Yeah.
was that in the book, by the way? Because I heard a story that was improvised in the moment.
I could not tell you off the top of my head if that's in the book. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised based on what I've heard of Jack Nicholson's performance
Mm,
in that film if he did just go for it and improvise that. Yeah,
yeah,
I believe that story. Yeah,
yeah, and Stanley Kubrick just kept it in. I mean, thankfully, it's cinema history now, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely.
But no, the point I'm making is that I imagine you got this as well with Stephen King's ones, especially that one, which is there's not too much emphasis on the action, the horror, and the slashing, all that kind of stuff. but it's when you see someone's mind just start to go, and it's, of course it's the isolation in that big house or the hotel, and there's all these weird stuff around it when you see like the
Yeah.
ghosts in the he goes into the bar and there's nobody there, and then suddenly
Yeah.
Lloyd's there behind the bar going, Mr. Torrance, what will it be? And
Yeah.
you're
Oh,
like,
such a great film. I'm going to have to watch it again.
oh yeah, me too, man, me too.
Oh, so talking of that, actually,
Hmm.
just talking about watching somebody slowly go mad on film, I recently saw Benedict Cumberbatch in Thing with Feathers.
I need to see that. I need to see that.
He's an amazing actor anyway.
He's one of my heroes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love him. And his performance in that is just amazing. Watching him slowly not come to terms with what's happened and his madness set in, and then embrace the madness and then deal with it is brilliant. Oh, no spoilers. I won't spoil it for you, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah. No. 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 I need
and
to
it's a
watch it.
masterclass. It reminds me actually when you talk about Jack Nicholson's performance in The Shining, it's a similar kind of study of madness and
Mm,
coping with a difficult situation.
mm. And it's and I can't call it cabin fever because that would putting it way too mildly. But it's that case of isolation and what your mind can do. And there's, like I
Yeah.
said, there's a spiritual, ghostly thing to the house. And then in the
Mm.
director's cut, which was there's a scene where his wife goes downstairs, looks down the hall, and suddenly these skeletons just appear in chairs and in seats. And the film asks a big question about what's real and what isn't real.
Yeah.
And you're asking yourself, like, what can I believe? What can you believe, especially in a place with ghostly history as well and everything in between.
Yeah.
But when you've got actually, so when you've got that, if you were narrating The Shining and you
Mhm.
had to communicate that through simply just your voice,
Mm.
how do you do that with all these layers of stuff, which are visually on screen you can do no problem, but when
Mhm.
you've just got a voice, how do
Yeah.
you do that?
It's a good question, and it's hard, and that is something I think about, and I think most voice actors would think about, is how to convey the subtleties. It's hard enough on screen if you can only convey something in really simple ways. But with your voice, I guess you can add doubt to your voice. That's something that a voice actor can convey is doubt or uncertainty, which so with The Shining, there was a lot of doubt and uncertainty. And then panic, you can add panic to a vocal performance. Yeah, and fear. You just have to add the emotions that you think the character is feeling to your voice.
Hmm.
Um, and it has to be subtle,
Mm.
like any performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like sound effects in your stuff as well? So, like, if there's a scene where someone's walking down a corridor in a haunted house,
Mm.
then suddenly you do like a little sound effect of a water drop from a tap.
Yeah.
It goes,
I,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
I
yeah.
don't add any sound effects.
Hmm.
And let me think if any of my books have had. So I've definitely worked on productions where there have been a lot of sound effects put on afterwards. But in terms of the books, I know that's more of the it's a newer thing, I think, with audiobooks. Um I've also seen more um dual casting. So I think the new Harry Potter audiobooks actually, that's got a whole cast, hasn't it?
Hmm.
So that's more like I would say an audio production rather than a narrator reading an audiobook. So um yeah, in the work that I've done, there's not really sound effects. I don't add them, and I don't think the production companies do either for any of mine.
Mm.
But I know that that can happen. It's more often now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear like an audiobook of like The Woman in Black or something
Mm.
like that, which is just,
The creep. I don't actually know it, but yeah, I know what you mean.
have you seen the play?
No, I haven't.
Have you read the book?
No.
Mm.
So no spoilers. But is it scary?
No,
Is it really scary?
it's how old was I when I first saw it? I was 14, going on 15, and in the theatre, and you talked about books that kind of leave an impact on you and stuff, and like from a theatre perspective, that experience still sticks to me even now. That first time, and I saw it. I said to myself, I'm never going to watch it again. I was traumatized. I didn't sleep very well for 2 nights. Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. But actually, I did go back. I went back 3 more times, and I saw it. And second, third, and fourth time, I was just like, oh wow, this is one hell of a story. This is just brilliant.
So as I said earlier, I do avoid things that I think are going to be scary. But if you, yeah, apparently it's quite good. So maybe I
It,
should.
I cannot recommend it enough. If I know
Yeah.
it does chill the spine from time
Mm,
to time, but honestly, just read it. It's no spoilers at all, but it's just brilliant. Siobhan, I can't
okay.
recommend it
Okay.
highly
I'll
enough.
give it a go. I'll give it a go.
Yeah, yeah. If ghost stories is your thing, of course. But
Mhm.
so this is a question I have for today: was how can an actor get to know their voice exactly? What's that process like?
Uh, yeah, well, it's been a long process. As I said to you earlier, when I started out as a voice actor, I just really wasn't sure. And I asked people, I was like, because I'm from a working class background. My parents were Irish immigrants, working class.
Okay.
But um, but I don't think that's necessarily always in my voice. So it took me a while to understand what I sounded like. So how can an actor get to know their voice? I think it just comes with time, recording yourself and listening to yourself. It's the listening back, actually.
Mm,
I think that for me, and I know a lot of people's routes will be different. For me, when I started out, I've done a lot of stuff in my home studio. So I record my own voice and listen back to it. And over the years and years that I've been doing it, I have come to know my voice more and appreciate it. And it's so weird when I'm sitting there editing something that I've done and I'm laughing along or, or getting like actually enjoying my own vocal performance. And it's crazy that I've got to that point now because at the beginning it was very much critique of like how I
mm.
sound and how I pronounce whether I'm dropping my T's or not. And like I've got quite a lot of sibilants and picking up on things like that. But then with confidence and with the hours and hours of working, you know your own voice and trust it. Yeah, I don't know how someone can find that without the hours, to be honest.
Mm.
What they say, is it 10,000 hours you have to apply to anything to be an expert?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I resonate with that entirely. But now I can listen back to episodes like no problem at all. I
Mhm.
can, watching the episodes back took a bit longer, but now
Yeah.
I can watch it and be like, okay, well, yeah, that's who I am. That's how I talk.
Yeah.
That's what I look like.
Yeah. The
But
cringe factor at the beginning is just
yeah, at
awful.
first I was just like, oh no, no.
I know, I
But,
know, I
but
know.
now it's like, okay, right, yeah, that's me. Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go. But listening back, I mean, now I can listen back, no problem at all, like I say. But I remember
Mm.
in the beginning, it's like we don't really have landlines anymore, but sometimes you'd hear yourself back on like an answering machine, and you go, "Who the fuck's that?
Exactly, exactly.
That's not me."
Yeah.
That's like,
No, that's it. Because you play a narrative in your head of who you are. Like, and I'm one of these people, I'm walking along the street and I have music on. And
mm,
I don't know whether you do this. I've spoken to a friend who also does it. Sometimes I'm in a music video and I'm walking along and the music's playing and I'm there and I'm the main character in the music video and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
all
yeah,
good. Um, and yeah, when I first started recording my voice, and as you said, even worse, on video, I was like, well, that's not who I've been seeing and hearing in my head all these years. There's somebody completely different. But you
yeah,
get used to it. And I think once you get used to seeing and hearing yourself,
yeah.
it comes with a nice self-acceptance, it's a
Yeah, it's just like that's who I am. That's right.
yeah,
And always remember the camera always adds 10 pounds, guys. So it's not
yeah,
entirely what you think.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Totes, totes.
Exactly. No, it's true. It's true. It's true. Well, I say it's true anyway. But I remember there was a lady who came into drama school and talked to us about specifically ads or commercials.
Mm,
Because I know you've done commercials for Toyota and a few other things as well.
yeah.
Just before we get into that, I'd always found like the end bit, you know, when it goes really, really quickly, like
Yeah.
terms and conditions apply, subject to availability, stock class. I
Yeah.
always thought like someone just said that like regular pace and then they just sped it up. But she said, no, no,
No.
no, 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 no. That you literally do it a
Mm.
million miles an hour, go blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 and you just hope it all makes sense
Yeah.
in the end. Yeah, I mean, what's that like?
Yeah, well, I quite like it actually. I quite like testing myself on my speed reading, and often depends on what you're doing. But if like with dubbing and audio description work, and often the T's and C's, they'll roll across the screen, so it's like
Yeah,
sight
across
reading.
the bottom, doesn't
And
it?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and so you have to. Yeah, I quite like it. I quite enjoy the challenge. But if you mess it up, if you fall over one word, then that's it. Go and do it again. But
yeah,
yeah, ads, commercials and ads are a different thing. And I think for me, I have done quite a few ads now, but I wouldn't have your traditional commercial voice. I think often for commercial stuff, they want um, much more cheerful, bubbly voice.
mm,
And my natural tone isn't upbeat and bubbly, but I can do it. Like, it's in my range. But
yeah,
yeah. So a lot of the ads I've liked doing have been they're looking for a more modern sound, which is
yeah,
what I've done. Yeah. I
yeah,
don't mind. I quite like the commercial work. It's quite fun sometimes. And
yeah.
it's short, so you can do it and then you're done.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you get paid and you go home.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I've got like a commercial reel on my spotlight. Just one bit where it's like, do you need help finding this little dog helper? We're trying to help you with all this kind of stuff. I mean, it kills
Yeah.
me to do it, but I just thought, no, you've got to have some range on there. I was like, okay, fine, but you know, I think if one type of voice work I'd love to do or will do, let's put it out
Mm.
there. Why not? I'd love to be the narrator of a documentary. I'd love to be like a David Attenborough, you know, narrate a
Wouldn't we
documentary.
all? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was watching a David Attenborough show with my 10-year-old son the other day, and we were just saying that he's one in a million. Well,
His
one
voice
a
is
one off.
just, oh,
He's incredible. And his voice still, I think he's 92,
yeah, he's
and
still
he
going
still has,
strong, man.
yeah, power in his voice and the control of his voice, which is, as somebody who works in voice a lot, age takes our skin and hair and things, and also your
Mm,
voice. It's amazing, his voice. Yeah, documentary work would be great. I
mm. Yeah, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
You know, just narrate something about, you know, I've seen all his stuff like Blue Planet, Frozen Planet.
Mhm.
Uh, he does one where he talks about the plant kingdom. And just basically
Yeah.
anything that he's done, I'm literally just
I would think the thing
Christ,
with
yeah.
David Attenborough is as well, though, he's not just narrating. They're his projects. It's like I always get this wrong. So it's not so there's a naturist and a naturalist. There's people who are naked, and then people who care
Na-
about the natural world.
yeah,
I don't know.
naturist is someone who doesn't wear any clothes. Yeah.
Okay, it's not that.
Don't get
Otherwise,
those two mixed up.
yeah, I don't want to call David Attenborough a naturist. But yeah, his life is the natural world, and he cared about
Mm.
climate change before it was such.
Yeah,
We all knew that it was such a problem.
yeah, yeah.
So that's why there's such feeling in his work because he really does care about it.
Yeah, there's a brilliant mate. He did Jonathan Ross actually, you know,
Oh yeah.
and he did. There's a moment where he said, you know, he said, yeah, but you know so much about this planet. You ever thought about going into outer space or everything and like seeing the universe and stuff? And he went, no, that's boring.
Oh,
That's boring. You know, think about it. Look at how much stuff we've got on this
yeah.
planet with us already. You know, you could hover around in space for weeks and see
Mm,
nothing. Obviously, you
yeah.
see the stars, you see the, you know, maybe a shooting star if you're lucky. But yeah, but think about all the stuff we've got down
Mhm.
here, and you hear it in his voice and everything. And that's something I wanted to ask you about is like the engagement in a voice. When you're listening to an audio book, you're listening to an advert or a briefing for The Economist. You know, you've got
Yeah.
to engage the
Mhm.
reader. I mean,
Yeah.
we mentioned earlier about monotone. If you just do like,
Yeah.
they're going to switch off immediately. So how do you maintain that level of engagement the whole time, especially with like audiobooks as well?
Mm. So yeah, that's a good question. And I think I even find myself as a listener sometimes switching off from an audio. book, and through no fault of the narrator. So, so yeah, I think there's performative things you can do, but it depends on what the book is. If I've done a few non-fiction
Mhm.
audiobooks,
Okay.
which that's I'm not a big reader of non-fiction personally. I like a novel or fiction. So that's harder to engage. But in terms of vocal performance, you can add light and shade in your vocal performance.
Mhm.
You can change the volume, the tone, not coming in shouting and whispering, but yeah, subtle versions of that. And melody. I remember one of my coaches telling me that it, because I enjoy singing as well, and he was like, "It's you can add a bit of song to your vocal performance,
Mhm.
really add in some notes and some pauses and some drawing out and play with it." I think if the narrator, if your vocal performance, you're having fun and playing with it, then that will come through to the listener as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, because ultimately you want to be heard, you want to be listened to more than
Yeah.
anything. And I know if you're narrating fiction as well, and you're not, I know a lot of authors do their own audiobooks sometimes, or sometimes they give it to an actor if it's not their thing, you know. I know McConaughey does his own stuff. Jodie Comer did the book version of Prima Facie and stuff. But which I've listened to bits and pieces of, which is also very
Oh.
beautiful, very, very nice.
I saw her on stage. That again, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you actually go to the theatre? Did you get a
I saw
ticket?
an NT live
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
me too. Me
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
get to, yeah.
Unfortunately, I couldn't get to the theatre, unfortunately,
Mm.
but it was sold out just like that. That's another
Yeah,
show I've talked about at length on here. I just love it.
amazing. Yeah.
Incredible performance from Jodie and everyone from behind the scenes as well.
Mhm.
But you want to be heard, I think. And so I just noticed a question here actually. So when you finish the final project, obviously I know you mentioned earlier you edit your own stuff. You know, if you do them,
Sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the times when you're not, do you
Mm.
have like a say in the final edit? Like, can I redo that bit? Can you make that bit a bit louder? Could I do that bit again? Or did you have any say in the matter?
It really depends on the producer, on who you're working for. For some projects, if it's during a live directed session, they will just take everything I've given them and they will make a cut. And
Hmm.
it's always annoying then when you hear the final cut and you're like, oh, they used that. That's not
Yeah.
what I would have used. But some producers I've worked with, is a company I work for regularly and do voice stuff for. They will often, after I've read a piece, they'll play it back and we'll both listen to it and they'll say, "What do you think? Do you think have you got that, or do you want to?" And sometimes I'll say, "Oh, I'd like to go again," or "I think I can do better."
Hmm.
And they will often ask my opinion on what it is. So it really depends actually on who you're working with and what the production is, what it is you're doing and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So, like when you're working with these, I mentioned in the intro these big companies that you've worked for, Indeed, The Economist, Sainsbury's, etc. What's it like working for corporations? Because you work with authors, but now you're
Yeah.
working with corporations. How does that? How is it the same and how is it different?
Again, it very much depends on the corporation. Indeed were brilliant to work for, and I think that's really good for their brand.
Mm,
They don't want to get it wrong, but they're like workplace kind of happiness and stuff and workplace balance. They
yeah,
were brilliant to work for. They, in terms of the practicalities, they they gave me all the information I needed. They paid well. They paid quickly. It was a good working relationship.
nice.
Um, Often, so when I've worked for the big companies, Sainsbury's, Indeed, Netflix, The Economist, all of those, there's always a middleman. There's always a production team, somebody who knows sound and who
Mm,
knows performance. So a company will go to a production company and say, "We want this," and then the production company will do a casting, find a voiceover artist, and then so the client will be in the room
hmm.
often whispering to the production company, saying, "No, we didn't like that." And then the production company will work with the voice artist. So the direction's usually good. Sometimes, and again, I think this has come the longer I've worked as a voice artist. If nobody in the studio seems that confident in giving me direction, or in trying to get the vocal performance from me, I will often start to direct myself a little bit. Now that I'm more established, I'll say, would you like me to do a read that's a little bit slower, or would you like me to do a read that conveys this? And often then the end client will step in and say, yes, that's what we would like.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, it really depends. But I don't get really affected by who the client is.
Yeah.
I'm just there as a voice. I very much like to keep that in mind. It's not my production. I'm there as the voice. I come in, do my job, and then leave.
Yeah, exactly. You just do what you can do really, and just
Mhm.
make sure you're all happy with the final product at the end of
Yeah.
the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I always one thing I always like drum into all of the clients is if there's any issues, please come back. I include like rereads and amends and pickups in all of my work because the last thing you want is to sign a job off and people not be happy with it. I'd rather go back and do it again.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
100%
yeah,
satisfaction all the time.
yeah.
So let's see how much time have we got. Okay, yeah, we've got a bit more time. So yeah, we're a bit pushed for time. So just got a few more things left for you, Siobhan.
Sure, sure.
Let's see, where's that question? It's just gone. So what would you say was some of the best lessons and advice that you could offer fellow voice artists as well as actors right now?
Um, advice. Uh, we were saying earlier about finding your authentic self. I think that's key.
Mm,
Obviously, we do character voices and stuff, and so that's different. I like video games that you do character voices, but if you're starting from a place of knowing your authentic self, then
mm,
it's better. One of the biggest piece of advice I wish somebody had given me, and it's not glamorous or exciting, it's that marketing is a big part of being a self-employed voice
definitely.
artist. Yeah. So when I started, I was like, I like vocal performance and I got good at it. And but that's not enough in this world. You need connections, you need to do marketing, you need to outreach, you need to meet the right people, you need to make the right connections. So yeah, I think I saw on a webinar or a podcast recently, somebody estimated that the percentage of what we do as voiceovers, it's like 10% actual voice acting, 90% marketing, business management, finances. So it's not fun, but that is the biggest thing I would say to anyone starting out in the
Mm.
business is just to be aware that you don't just get to go and speak for a living. You have to run a business and market yourself.
Yeah, it's like you are your own
Ooh.
business at the end of
Yeah, yeah.
the day. Now, I heard from someone that apparently the best thing to eat before you do any voice work is a green apple.
Hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah. And not just any green apple, a Granny Smith, a real sharp
Granny
one.
Smith one.
Yeah, that's a sharp one, isn't it? I don't actually do that. There are different lozenges that I
Hmm.
use. So keep hydrated is
Hmm.
really important. And so there are different lozenges you can use, well, just lockets or different other lozenges that help get rid of mouth click
Yeah.
and clear your airwaves. But people do say a green apple, a
Hmm.
Granny Smith, a sharp apple, because it neutralizes something and gets rid of the clicks in your mouth. But
Ah.
I don't know if I could be having an apple every time I go into the room. Bit much.
See, it's like
Oh,
you won't be able to look at an apple again after a
yeah,
long day.
exactly.
Like,
Exactly. Oh.
oh, you get home, and like, I've made apple crumble. Oh, fuck off.
Take that apple away from me.
Yeah, I'll just have the custard. Leave me alone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Oh,
crumble's the best bit anyway, isn't it?
indeed, indeed. Let's see how much time. Yeah, we're gonna have to finish up soon. Just,
Okay, yeah.
just looking for you. Oh, is there anything I've missed? Um, oh yeah, yeah. So this is kind of a fanboy kind of question, really. Here, before we get to the last two questions. So you've worked with Netflix as
Yes.
well. Yeah, what's it like being part of that universe? Because that seems to be like the place to
Mm.
be right now.
Yeah, that's a big one for me as well. Been able to say, yeah, because I
Mm,
love film. Um, I haven't worked again. I don't have mates at Netflix. I work for a production company which produces things for Netflix, but I have been part of Netflix productions, and yeah, it's really cool being able to put that on my CV and to be able to work with things. Um, it's really, yeah, to see your name associated with the what's the sound? Oh my God, I'm not going to get the sound right now. The Netflix sound, doo-doo. But
Yeah, but yeah,
yeah, that you got it. Um, it's good. Yeah, you asked how it is. It's really good. It feels good. It feels like you are trusted in what you do if a company like that is trusting you to do work with them.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't get to go to Netflix HQ. I work for a production company in London.
Oh well, never say never.
No, indeed, indeed, indeed.
Yeah, sure. I can see you being the boom mic operator. You're just holding the big thing over the top
Yeah.
with the headphones on. You go, right, can we, sorry, can you do that line again, please? You weren't very clear. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll do whatever. Bring it
yeah.
on. Yeah.
With the person behind the monitor just listening. I can't wait, do that bit again. I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I think
great.
that,
So recently I did a net do you know the film Steve? The Cillian Murphy film
yes,
Steve?
yes, yes, yes.
Yep. So I did the audio description for that.
Ah,
So after the film was completed, I went into a studio in London and we did the audio description. And there's something I love doing audio description work because, and I did it for another, we were talking about documentaries earlier, Tom Hardy nature documentary. So I get to
mm,
basically feel like I'm working alongside either Cillian Murphy or Tom Hardy. I'm not. I'm in a box in North London reading alongside, describing what is happening on screen. But yeah, it feels like I'm part of it.
yeah. God, that must have been an intense project because I've seen that film. It's like
Yeah,
talking and then violent sequence, fight,
yeah,
fight, 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 and then yeah. I mean,
yeah.
were you
And
constantly like he attacks him, he attacks him, he
there was a
approaches him?
lot of that. Yeah. Well, you can go
Yeah,
onto Netflix if you want, turn on the audio description and you'll
I
hear
will
me.
do. Yeah,
But yeah, we were saying, and I know we're short of time, but you were saying earlier about when I do audiobooks and getting emotional.
yeah,
And that was I was in a sound booth in London with a
yeah,
producer, but I did get emotional in that towards the end when, and again, no spoilers, with Shy at the end, I found myself getting, and I was describing what was happening. Shy walks out of the building, and I was emotionally invested in it. And it,
yeah.
yeah, pretty intense, that one.
I mean, that was an intense piece of work.
Yeah.
Even when you get halfway through it, you're just saying like, again, no spoilers, but there's a lot of fighting and a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
people just winding each other up and
Mm.
troubled backgrounds with kids and everything. That's what it's all about. It's about a teacher trying to keep
It is.
kids from, well, young adults,
Yeah.
but still kids, from severely tough upbringings and just trying to keep them
It's a
calm.
great, great piece of work, and written by the book was written by Max Porter, who wrote Grief with this thing with Fez as well.
Yes,
Yeah, that was good. And also in terms of technically for audio description, fitting the audio description in between the dialogue and the fighting was quite a challenge because there's so much going on in that film. Yeah.
yeah. Funny enough, I listened to. Have you watched the Traitors recently?
No, I haven't watched any of the traitors.
Okay. Okay, I won't say that one.
Okay.
I won't there's something in there you've got to watch for the first time
Is this
without
the celebrity traitors?
yes.
Okay. Oh, because I'm planning on watching that. So,
Okay, no, I won't say anything. There's
all
something
right.
in there which I found a clip of one moment which has gone very, very famous, for very viral now. And the audio, it was an audio description YouTube short. But anyway, I'm not going to say anymore, so just watch it. So
Okay.
because
All
it
right. I
gives away
will.
something that's very, very funny in one episode in particular. So that's what I'll say.
Okay.
But
I'll watch that and get back to you.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you know, you mentioned Things with Feathers. I've interviewed someone who's actually in that film last year, Claire Cartwright, who I believe
Oh,
plays Benedict Cumberbatch's character's wife, who's passed on.
oh, amazing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I need to see that film properly. I need to read the book and then feed back to Claire. But I'm sure she's done a great job. I haven't seen it yet, but I will get around to it.
Yeah.
So Claire, if you're listening, I'm on it. Don't worry.
Yeah. It's great. Well done, Claire.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
brilliant. Siobhan, thank you so much for today. This has been great. I know we're out of time. I've just got two very quick questions left for you today.
Okay.
It's the final two questions for every guest. So, first of all, slightly different to one I asked you earlier, but what would you say was a bit of advice you wish you heard at the start of your career or at your time
Mm.
doing voice work and stuff in the arts?
Uh, I'm just going to have to go back to what I said earlier.
Yeah.
I wish somebody had told me, prepared me for the amount of marketing I would have to do, and self-promotion, and that being good isn't enough. And somebody won't say, "Hey, look at you, you're brilliant. Come and have all the fame and riches and everything. You have to really do a lot of self-promotion and build a business model. Yeah, so I wish somebody, because I think I'm doing really well now, but I think I spent a lot of years just hoping somebody would find out what I was
Mm.
doing without bringing it to anyone.
Yeah, it's about the journey rather than the
Yeah,
destination for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Definitely. Just enjoy the ride. I know it gets tough sometimes, but the toughest
Totally.
road, I love that quote, the toughest roads often lead to the most beautiful destinations as well,
Yeah,
which I think is great.
that's a lovely quote. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely,
I love that one.
absolutely. Mm.
Yeah, and finally today, what would you say has been an experience or experiences you've had in your career up to now that you'll never ever forget?
So I was just talking about the audio description for Steve,
Mm,
and as a massive film fan for my entire life,
mm.
I used to want to be a filmmaker.
Yeah, you and me both.
Um, yeah, um, my having my name on the credits. So for Steve got cinematic release, and I went to see the
Okay.
audio described version of Steve, and yeah, I was credited on a film with cinematic release. So that's a big one for me.
Yeah.
Um, and also, I I still love it. Um, I did a a piece for the Lord of the Rings issue of Magic the Gathering,
Mm,
the computer game, and they were looking for somebody to do a read like Galadriel's read at the
yeah.
beginning of Lord of the Rings, and I did that.
Yeah. It's on your
Um,
website, isn't it?
you might, oh, I need to update my website, but yeah, probably. I really need to update it. It's
Yeah.
standard. But yeah, doing a Lord of the Rings launch in a Galadriel style voice, that's, this
Oh, brilliant.
top up there.
Yeah. And Kate Blanchett, she's another one. She's an amazing voice.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love her so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
Brilliant.
listed some really great actors on
Yeah,
this.
it's no, for sure. Big shout out to all of their work and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
They've inspired me, and I'm sure they've inspired you
Mm,
as well.
for
But
sure.
everything
Yeah,
that they do. But brilliant, Siobhan. Thank you so much. It's been really lovely to talk to you about stuff. I've still got so many more questions left for you, but we can reconvene at some point in the future.
yeah.
But yeah, thank you very much for today. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you
It's
so
been
much.
lovely chatting to you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's been great. So if you just hang on, I'll finish the recording. We'll have a tiny debrief, then you can shoot off. So yeah, brilliant, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This has been the Uncensored Critic podcast. I'll be back very, very soon. And yeah, Siobhan Dowd. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.